All right. Welcome to Accidental Nonsense. I'm Dave.
I'm Kristen.
And that's all we have for tonight. Kristen's sick. We're done. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. Hello?
Not really.
Oh, my gosh. Hold on.
I am. Okay.
No, you're my chair broke. Literally, I feel like it broke. Oh, my
David,
gosh.
has
No, you're good. I'm here.
been into the
It might.
you've been eating too much ice cream lately.
I actually did have butter pecan ice cream today. It was amazing.
I know you did.
How do you know that?
I didn't know. Well,
Who's talking?
this episode. What number is this?
34. 34, I think. We were slacking on recording though. We've gotten really bad at actually putting episodes up. We were really good there for a while during COVID.
But that's okay. And I am sick. My niece sneezed on my face on Monday. So I'm assuming I caught whatever she's got.
I had COVID over the weekend
Well, you want a badge?
for the second time that I know of.
So far, I've never tested positive for COVID at least, but I don't know. Getting all this other stuff.
Imagine if you tested positive in China.
Imagine. I'm glad I didn't.
Glad you didn't. You would have been locked up in the crazy house or whatever they put people in these days.
Now they're kind of done with all that. So
Are you nervous about World War III at all?
I saw something where some NBC people were on this plane and there were like Chinese fighter jets flying by it.
What?
So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, did you see? Apparently, we don't fact check stuff, so I don't know the truth behind any of it. But
just throw it up there.
Apparently, you know how the U.S. was shooting down a bunch of balloons because everybody was giving Biden crap because the Chinese spy balloon flew across the whole United States. So then he started shooting down all the balloons. Like Biden, it didn't care. Birthday balloon walking out of Target, it's going down. He was shooting down. So no, apparently there's a group of it was like a student body, they put up weather balloons all the time, and theirs went missing apparently. And the last known location apparently or something was where Biden shot it down over on the border of Canada or something like that by the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard that?
Students. It was their research balloon.
Yeah, Biden wasted $1 million rockets on a student's research balloon.
Up. Isn't one of those missiles at least $400,000 or something like that?
Isn't that crazy?
And I think that balloon maybe costs $30 or something. It's not that expensive.
Biden's done, man. Oh, somebody's apparently announced today they're going to run against him in a primary. Some progressive lady. I don't know. Forget her name, but that means Biden has to he doesn't just get a clean run to the nomination.
I have news. I just transferred my license from Kentucky to Ohio.
Oh, snap.
Isn't that crazy?
That's unfortunate.
And now I can vote in Ohio. I know. I kind of like my Kentucky license. And the new licenses, they're kind of dumb. It's the new ones,
Wait, what?
They're all kind of bluish.
Oh, yeah.
The new license. I don't like them.
My favorite license was Kentucky's, for sure.
I know. I like it. I should frame it.
You should. I got to keep my New York State license. Apparently, when you get a new license in PA, they just put a stamp through it that says void.
To mine.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
They put a stamp over mine in the corner just with a bunch of holes in it.
When I was switching my Ohio one to Kentucky when we moved there, I had to they burnt my Ohio one there on the table. They melted it down.
Are you joking?
No, they did take it, though. They did take it. I couldn't keep my Ohio one. They said no.
Well, here in Ohio, when I switched over, I kept my Kentucky one, and then they gave me a temporary sheet. And why are you looking like that? And they mailed me my Ohio one in the mail.
Oh, you didn't get it right there?
No, I had to wait a couple weeks.
Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah,
unfortunate.
Wait, what?
Want to know something unfortunate?
Yeah, what's unfortunate? Tell me.
So I went with my in-laws to go to a bourbon. We toured a bourbon distillery because I had never done that, and I had lived in Kentucky. Well, I went to college in Kentucky, and then I lived there for 2 years after. And I'd never done that, and so I'm like, this would be a fun thing to do. The weather was nice, and then we get there, and I realized I forgot my ID.
Ah, so you couldn't sample.
Luckily, some places apparently they don't even let you tour, but luckily they still let me join. I just couldn't.
You weren't even going to be allowed to like tour it at all if like you didn't have your license?
I think some places don't let you because of their rules or whatever, but they let me tour it still, and then I just couldn't do the tasting.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Because I've been in China the last 5 years. But they don't ID you anywhere there, so I wasn't even thinking. You get tickets online, and then I wasn't thinking about needing that.
China's pretty lax with that stuff. They don't care who gets drunk.
So Europe too.
That's so lit. No, but in all honesty, it is funny about the balloon thing. I know that's like all news now.
What was funny about the balloon thing is how much of the news that took up over like
the train.
3 weeks. It's true. That took up more space than the toxic train.
That's like killing people or could kill people in the future. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, the funny thing though is balloons, like the whole UFO thing, like it's just like, you know how many like drones and little devices people make, like wrap aluminum foil around a balloon, send it up into the air, and then everybody's like, it's an alien from outer space.
Do people do that?
People do it all the time. I don't know. The Earth's flat, so I don't even know. Actually, I'll get into that another time though. There's whole other like stuff about that too now. Here's something that's gonna like really like stress you out. So apparently on some like Russia state TV, I don't know if you saw this, but there's two like Russian guys, I don't know if they're like military or what, talking about how like a good plan for the United States would be to send all their nuclear weapons to Yellowstone and blow up the supervolcano with nuclear weapons.
For the U.S. to do that? Or for the Russians?
No, Russia attacks the U.S. and blows up the supervolcano with nukes.
Oh my gosh. I want to move again.
Are we within the radius?
I mean, we would be okay. I mean, you're going to be a lot.
I mean, to be fair,
not wipe out like the whole U.S. though, like because of the ash and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But to be fair, I mean,
we wouldn't die right away.
That's a brilliant plan. If they really wanted to mess with us.
It's smart. We got a ticking time bomb over there.
We got to get rid of that volcano. How do we get we get rid of it?
Can we just dry that up or something? Like,
well, I mean, I guess the good thing, we got to drain that thing. The good thing about Russia is like with them, I mean, what's over there? Nothing. Most of Russia is just like cold and icy.
Yeah, right. It's like a freezer.
Look at that. Speaking of Kentucky, you were kind of talking about Kentucky. You still got that up there. Still my home.
I love Kentucky.
I love Kentucky too. We should move back.
Speaking of Kentucky, were you keeping up with all the recent pilgrimages?
The pilgrimage. We were going to talk about that because we don't talk too much about like spiritual theology stuff. We should get into some podcast about that. We try to stay away from that. More other stuff. No, but we're both very spiritual people.
Yeah, look at me.
Look at you. You're in a Zen something. I don't know. No, but so if anybody didn't know, I mean, this is kind of like within the last 2-3 weeks. It's kind of dying down now, I think, but. Asbury University in Kentucky. Kristen and I both graduated from there.
Come on. You graduated with like quotes. Come on.
I graduated by default. It's still a graduated though, technically.
But I actually graduated.
You spent 4 years there. I spent 5 years virtual.
Three technically.
Anyways,
technically, for real.
Anyways, it's a Christian university, and they spend 3 times a week they have chapels, right? Is it 3 times a week over at the actual school?
Yeah, you would know if you actually graduated from there.
Yeah. No, well, because I know they have the seminary. They have the seminary across the street, and then they have the actual university.
Yeah, but the seminary is not affiliated. It was affiliated when it was first founded, but the seminary, it's been a long time. It's not affiliated with the university anymore. But yeah, they do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They have chapel. like a morning chapel service you have to go to, which I was thinking about this when I went to school there. I did not, I mean, I would go to all, because those chapels are mandatory. You have so many skips because it's a private Christian school. And then I would still go to church usually on Sundays. And looking back, I'm like, I don't know why I still went to church on Sundays when I was
really overdid it. You really overdid it.
I'm like that for the rest of my life now when it comes to church services.
So here's my question, because I wasn't like an on-campus student. I was for the Nazarene University in Mount Vernon, Ohio. So
yeah, you weren't
and I was there for like a year, but on and on, I was somewhat at this NAS. But when we go to chapel there, they scan your student card on the way out. That you have to swipe it, so then they know if you attend a chapel or not. So did they do that?
How they did it, I don't know. They might do it differently now. But when I was there, I graduated in 2015. And when I was there, they had seat checkers. So you had an assigned seat, and they would have people assigned to like look through their section and then basically tally.
Gotcha. So they had people really they need to step up their technology.
And what you could do is what people did is if someone had extra chapel skips and a friend didn't and the friend wanted to miss, they would sit in that friend's seat for them and usually didn't get caught. But they might do it differently now. And
Brilliant.
Work around.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so they have chapel 3 days a week, and then one of the chapels, it ended after a message, but then the praise band kept playing, and then people just kept worshiping and praying, and then it led into like people giving their lives to Christ and more prayer and more worship, and it continued for like some weeks. But if they call it a revival, or I think they were saying an outpouring or like an awakening.
Yeah, Asbury started calling it an outpouring, and then it led to, I think at some point there were up to 50,000 people that came from even around the world that came to just like either they wanted to go or just experience what was happening, because all of these people started showing up from different communities and wanting to see what was happening there. And so I have they were like, I think at some point the line got to be like 4 hours long.
Yeah, well, that's great. And so everybody knows, if you don't know and you're listening, like Asbury University is in Wilmore, Kentucky. Wilmore, Kentucky is a tiny town. You could walk from one end to the other in probably like 2 seconds. Yeah,
they literally have like 2 stoplights, I think.
Yeah. And so all these people coming into this small town is insane.
I was able to be in Wilmore. I had plans to visit a friend, and then there was actually supposed to be a concert at the seminary during that week that I had plans to go to, and it was canceled because of everything happening. But there's a place called Great Wall. It's a Chinese restaurant there. And I'm in there getting food with my friend, and this woman, she asks us, "Oh, are you from here?" She's this older lady. And I was like, well, I used to be, and like my friend is living here. And then she just goes, she's like, this is ungodly what's happening. And she just started talking, because I think she lives there. So for her, it's
just
like
annoying.
Well, like she can't get parking places. There's all these people coming in. So for her, and if she's lived there for most of her life, that's like a big shift all of a sudden.
Right.
With all these people coming in. So.
Well, that's the crazy thing, and just so people know, a revival or awakening, outpouring, whatever you want to call it, it's really like a high spiritual moment where like you can basically, the presence of God is like moving like and just through a lot of people at once. I would say that's how I would describe it, right?
Yeah.
And so people just feel that.
What? Everybody. I guess there are theological definitions of it, but also everybody kind of has their own take on it, and like what exactly. I mean, I think a lot of it is semantics. Like sometimes I see people arguing about what this thing is, and really the only difference is they're just calling it a different name.
Right.
But I would say part of it is just people just having like a renewed sense of, I don't know, passion for worship, or I read one article talking about the history of revivals specifically at Asbury, and it was kind of talking about how, maybe it wasn't as specific to Asbury, but anyways, it was kind of talking about how each one has had a different emphasis almost in regards to the generation that it takes place in. Like some of them focus on healings, or some of them focus on, some of them are more like outward focused or something, different things. And then they were saying that this one is mainly focused kind of just like a worship focused, and just simply wanting to like be there and worship. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting, looking at what each generation is kind of seeking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a definition just randomly online, because everybody can define it differently, but it's basically, it's like a spiritual reawakening from a state of dormancy or stagnation in the life of a believer, right? And it talks about like it encompasses resurfacing of love for God and appreciation of God's holiness, a passion for His Word and His church, and basically just like lighten a fire for that, and then like having that spread. And I think a lot of times people want to travel to be a part of that because they're seeking to like feel something like powerful, right? Where you may not feel it. And everybody says, oh, you could experience God's holiness anywhere. You can experience revival anywhere, which is true. But there's something about like actually making the effort, going somewhere where there's like so many people at once, like worshiping God at once.
Well, I think so too. And I think like with anything, anytime you have to like physically make a step or some sort of sacrifice, which, sacrifice could just be taking your time to go do something. Anytime you have to like make an effort like that, there's going to be more of a meaning behind it.
Right.
Because like obviously you can pray wherever you're at, you can worship wherever you're at, but there is something, and depending on the person and what they need, I think there is something powerful in taking that physical step to go be a part of something, or like make a commitment or like recommit. I guess part of me does feel a little bit weird about the people that feel like they need to go there for like healings or things like that. I didn't hear too much about a whole lot of like I didn't hear much about like certain things happening. Most of the people that I talked about just like people just wanting to sit and worship and like be together. But I think that gives me like a weird feeling, just because I don't know. What do you think about
that? Well, to get back to the more like funny side of things too, is there was somebody being recorded and they said something. She was from out of town and she said randomly, and during the thing, she said, "Oh, it's been amazing. We've seen people's limbs grow back."
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
And I shared this with you. I was watching on Fox News because I had a friend who was going to actually be interviewed on there, then I had. I don't usually watch. I usually try to watch a bit more balanced news, but then I had it on the TV, and then later on they interviewed these two people, and one of them, I think they didn't do their research. They like thought she was a university student, but it turns out she was a high school student from like Southern Ohio or something.
Yeah, Southern Ohio. Yeah, she drove down.
I get her parents' permission to even interview her or something. But anyways, so she was this young kid, and I feel bad because, you could tell she didn't actually see that. She probably just heard rumors of something like this. And the interviewer asked her, like, what have you seen happening this past week? And that was her answer. And then right away she, like, flips the script because the interviewer was like, limbs grow back, what do you mean? And then she starts talking about someone's, like, sprained ankle.
Yeah, sprained ankle, yeah. Well, and you know what's funny is no matter what, no matter what you're gonna get like crazy stories like that too. Anyways, right? No matter like that's anything though. It's just funny. Yeah, because the interviewer was literally like, "What do you mean limbs grow back?" And then they just kind of moved on from it. They never re-navigated back to like the limbs growing back. Because I'd be interested.
I'm curious.
I think we're all pretty curious. So yeah, it was just a really powerful I think, a couple weeks, but I'm assuming it's pretty died down now and like out.
I would like to talk about like just how interesting this has just made me realize what a crazy world social media is too, because I do not think it would have gotten as big as it did without social media.
Yeah, no, it definitely wouldn't have gotten everybody to come down.
And a lot of people are attributing it to TikTok specifically, and just how TikTok, you post one video and you don't need people to be following you for them to see it. So you could post one video and thousands of people who aren't following you could see this video. And I don't know, you let me know what you think, but I think there's the part of it where people want to make that commitment and maybe go. I'm sure that's part of it. But also, I feel like there had to be part of the population that just wanted, whether it was intentional or not, it was almost like FOMO, the reason that they wanted to go. They had a fear of missing out, and they wanted to go and get their picture in hues. And whether that was like an innocent thing to just experience it, to share their experience or what, I'm not going to judge someone for that, but the world of social media and how we all want to be so connected, I mean, I'm sure that played a huge role in the amount of people actually went.
We want to be a part of the hype, and I think that's some of it too, right? Because you did see a lot of people that went that told everybody they're going, took pictures, all the stuff, right? They went down and like literally videos right away, which is fine if you're experiencing something great and you want to share it. But I mean, but I'm sure there's a percentage of people that are just like, I can go down there to take some photos, and then they like left, right? So, but I don't know. It is kind of cool though.
Not that I'm judging them. Like, people can do what they want with their lives, but it is interesting how, I don't know. And I even noticed myself over the past few weeks getting kind of frustrated as an actual alumni. Yeah. I even noticed myself getting frustrated seeing how, like, everybody, even people that didn't go, have to have a comment about it or critique, or they have to give their expert opinion. And I don't know, it's just an interesting world with social media where you see these big events happen, and then everybody wants to have this feeling that they have something of value and like worth to add, and to be a part of it, to connect themselves to this somehow. But
I'm pretty sure I didn't even say anything about it on social media. But no, I mean, it's a cool thing. I like, because I agree. Like, I think it's a great thing.
And if people did, it's not like I'm judging that. I do think it's an interesting, like, psychological thing.
No, especially in the day of social media. Well, that's why they got so many people, because, I mean, I was joking around, but it basically turned into the Christian Mecca. Like, everybody was going. I mean, I read a story. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know if it would have stopped.
No, it would have probably kept going because people from out of state and out of town. I read a story that somebody literally, two people, like, I don't know if it's true, but they like sold their car from like South America so they could fly up here to Kentucky.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then like they didn't have any way back.
That's terrible.
It's like, what? It's like, that's crazy.
That's terrible.
Man. But no, it was cool though. Asbury Revival. Search it if you haven't. TikTok. A lot of worship going on. That's basically what it was. Just a lot of worship, prayer, testimonies, cool stuff. People go on fire, basically. So
maybe we'll get some people on to interview them about it.
We have a whole Asbury Revival podcast and just get a bunch of people on.
Asbury week.
We'll go down to Asbury and we'll record live from the Holy Chapel.
We'll wait a few weeks. I'm sure they'll let us into Hughes.
Let it die down. We'll start the revival back up. What if it did? What if they got it all died down and it just like started? It just came back.
Well, I'm sure they've put policies in place now. I'm sure after all of this, how big it.
Well, that's another thing too, because like obviously as a Christian university and even as Christians, you don't want to like quench the Holy Spirit, but I mean, you also have to, and nowadays, right, especially with like government or city governments, you have to be like realistic with stuff. You have to stand by like fire code, by all that, whatever it is.
And previous ones never got this big. Like, and I mean, it was big. And so you take it, it's like ends up being a city issue. where like they literally don't have the infrastructure. So the one day when I'm driving into Wilmore, it was like not like I've never seen a traffic jam in that town. And there was like, It took me 10 minutes to get down the street. And so it ends up being like a major city issue because they don't have the infrastructure to facilitate that many people and to like bring that many people there. So
basically Wilmore doesn't exist anymore.
It is a college campus too. So, and you want to be able to trust people, but also you never know. Like there's always
you gotta be safe.
Extremists. And so, when you have that many people coming to a small little campus.
They should have just marched on down to Rupp Arena in Lexington, right? And if you don't know, Rupp Arena is University of Kentucky's basketball arena, or they use it for other stuff too. But yeah, they would have had plenty of space at Rupp Arena for everybody.
There were rumors that something would be hosted in other locations. Like
that was just an excuse to get them off of their campus.
It kind of seems that way. But you know what? I did see the university's page. It posted something like, we will not be hosting anything at Rupp Arena. It specifically mentioned Rupp Arena. And then they made a new post saying we'll not be hosting any further like outpouring events or whatever. And the old post was taken down though, the Rupp Arena one. So they must have changed the wording on it because that must have been a rumor or something that they were addressing, but then they took it down.
It just says from a day ago they won't be hosting.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or sponsoring further outpouring events at this time. So, yeah. I mean, it was cool while it lasted. I mean, I think it will continue, but I think people need to realize that you can't stay on. I mean, eventually, like you said, it'll just be like people from out of town coming to keep it going. But eventually, you got to take that fire and like go do something with it, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's most like Christians that I talk to, that's their hope is that ideally it's like to help renew this, like, I don't know, renew this like fire in you or something. And then the hope is that it'll actually create real change in people and in communities. So
we'll see. We'll see what the future holds, right?
Wild days we live in.
Wild days, World War III, revival. I mean, basically, it's just leading up to like just a big old spiritual battle at the end. You got the Christian revivals happening. You got World War III. You know, you got Voldemort. You got Satan. You got
Voldemort.
A lot of stuff going on. You got balloons and people just bobbing balloons. But no, that was good. That was good. All right. Well, you're sick. We'll let you go. We'll wrap it up. If your comments on the revival, you can comment below. If you want to comment, about Russia's nuke plan, balloon pops, whatever you want to do. COVID. Now that I mentioned COVID, I wonder if they'll still put a marker on this saying like COVID information. Here's the, because they used to do that. But I know. We'll see. Or maybe they'll mark it as like revival talk. Please do not show up. I don't know. Do they do that now? Who knows?
Yeah, they're going to put a revival warning.
Revival warning. All right, everybody. We're out of here. Have a good one. We'll be back soon. We'll start doing this more often. Maybe. I don't know. Once every 3 weeks when we start recording again. All right. Bye. You got anything else to say?
No, I'm
Too
good.
bad.